Hello, WordPress people. Welcome back to WPMRR WordPress podcast. I'm Christie.
And I'm Joe.
And you're listening to the WordPress Business Podcast. What's going on in your life this week, Joe?
This week feels like kind of a new beginning for me, like a new chapter, because Morrison started today is at his third day of daycare today. And it's like everyone's being super safe, as safe as possible. Everyone who's going gets negative tests, negative COVID tests, the daycare, they do the temperature when you walk in and that kind of stuff. But he's gone for 3 days this week, and I feel like I've gotten so much work done. It's crazy. Like, I can sit down for like 3 hours and work on something now. And it's like it's like I didn't really realize how, I was getting some stuff done, but it was like 15 minutes of work, like hang out with the baby for half an hour, 15 minutes of work, it was like I was trying to put a lot into a little bit of time. Now I really have time to like spread my wings a little bit and do some more work. So it's been excellent. So that's just new with me and my newfound bandwidth.
I mean, that is super exciting. And isn't it so funny how we take things for granted sometimes with the whole, I can work for 3 whole hours without stopping. Yeah, well, congratulations. They grow up so fast.
Thank you. What is new with you?
So it also feels like a new beginning for me because I have relocated completely to Austin, Texas. So
Wow.
Joe and I, as of this recording, small tier, are no longer in the same city. That was a fun year of this podcast being produced in Washington, D.C., but alas, that has now changed. And I'm excited about it. Joe knows, most people, if you know me and you listen to this podcast and you personally know me, you know that I move around a lot. I've sort of always been sort of semi-nomadic and just trying on different things, especially at this stage in life and with the flexibility that our job allows. And I was here. I got here about a month ago and finished bringing over the rest of my belongings. Not very many, but, I had some things. I had like 2 pieces of furniture. Finished bringing those over the weekend. And here I am.
Amazing. We were talking a little bit off air about this before we started recording. And I was saying, I'm going to miss you very much. But it sounds like an exciting opportunity for you. And I was like, I'd probably do the same in your shoes. Like Austin, lots of outdoor space right now when you can still go outside without necessarily like having too much social, like being, I don't know, what's the difference? What's the opposite of social distancing? Social proximity?
Closeness?
Yeah. Right. Like, and you do all sorts of stuff. Closeness. I should have thought of that one. But it's also like, it's a little bit cheaper of a city too. DC is, we know, is somewhat expensive. And so it'll be a nice change of pace for you, I think. Plus it's like, yes, I will miss you and hanging out in person like more often, but WordCamps will come back. And plus we like see each other every week because we do this anyway. So it's like, well, in person we will miss a little bit, but we still get to see each other every week. So that's cool.
Yeah, leaving Joe and Mo and Sterling behind was definitely on the cons column. But yeah, exactly. The pros column contained a whole lot of, hey, our lives are not and should not return to quote unquote normal anytime soon. And if I'm living in this abnormal situation for the next 12 months, I need to do that somewhere where I can save some money, be healthier, and have a little bit more space to be inside. I lived in a 400 square foot studio apartment in downtown Washington, D.C. So awesome during normal times where I can go outside every single day and go to bars and go places. And the very expensive and beautiful city that is Washington, D.C. is my living room. Not so awesome during pandemic times. And so made some quick decisions. And thankfully, I'm very privileged that my life has that flexibility where I can just be like, all right, let's try something different. So I'm feeling great. But it's definitely a new adventure.
Yeah. And you also mentioned that there's other folks on the Liquid Web team too in Austin, right? So you get to combine a remote life and some IRL work time as well. So that's cool.
I'm actually super excited about that. There are maybe about 15 or so liquid webbers,
Oh,
next
good.
scissors here in Austin, and then the whole bunch of them in San Antonio, which is about an hour away. And I am pumped about that. I've said for a while that to me, I love remote work and I would never go back, but I'm the kind of person where the lack of office culture and office social life is actually a drawback of remote work. It's
Totally.
something that I deal with and compensate for, but that I genuinely enjoy in the traditional remote work and the traditional office work setting. But the benefits of remote work are so outstanding that I sacrifice the office social life. And so I feel like I am going to get a little bit of the best of both worlds by being here. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's a really good point actually, because I think remote work has a lot of advantages, and a lot of people like the aspect of being able to work remotely and not being location dependent, and that's great. But I think great remote work probably comes with some balance of like some in real life interaction, maybe not totally professionally, but like at least personally. Like there has to be some aspect of what you do that's like IRL too, because like human beings are such social creatures. Maybe some are extroverts and some are introverts, but to like during this whole COVID thing, it's like we've had to like lock down in our house and work remotely, which is great. We can keep working, but like I don't know about you. I'm sure you know some people too of like feel like they've hit breaking points of like I've been sitting in my house for 6 straight weeks, like doing work, and like it's kind of driving me a little crazy. And like, yes, remote work's nice to be able to do that, but you got to find some sort of balance with like some outdoor time or some friends time or some like a happy hour now and again and like some social interaction, because it's tough. Like remote work is tough when it's 100% remote. It's like kind of like anything. It's tough when you're like 100% that. Like you need a little bit of balance.
Absolutely. And I think that we maybe found that balance, and then that balance was thrown off center by the coronavirus pandemic. And so we're having to re-find that balance and figure out how that's going to work for us in a world that's probably not going back to the way it used to be, right? Even when we have a vaccine and we can have our old normal back, there are economic things that probably won't go back to being the exact same way. How many companies are now fully remote and are kind of loving it and could be saving 10,000, 20,000, $30,000 a month on
Yeah.
that commercial office space, you know? So we'll see. And we'll all have to figure out how to operate as more remote workers.
Yeah. Or like Twitter, they're like, oh, we're remote now. Like
Yep.
no one has to come back to the office. Or Jack Dorsey's like, no one come back to the office. Like imagine how much they're saving in office space. You remember like,
Millions.
yeah, you remember like it was like 2 years ago, I think, when Automatic made that announcement that like they're losing their San Francisco office, like they're
Mm-hmm.
moving out of it. It was like 2 years ago or something, and I remember reading about. I can't remember how much they were spending on, but it was like, holy shit! Like Automatic like has been spending that much on an office where like 10 people come in a week. Like that's pretty
Right.
crazy.
I remember the article on that headline, and I remember the article saying, yeah, right now coming to the office is optional and it's kind of quiet and sad in here because no one
Yeah.
takes advantage of it. It was a
There's like
Bay Area office. Yeah.
tumbleweeds rolling across. Yeah.
But yeah.
Or right on. Okay, today, we got another Q&A episode, but before we
Ooh.
dive into that, we wanted to chat about a little bit about our um, episode about being minorities in the WordPress space. This is our first time jumping on and being on the podcast and recording after recording that episode. And we just wanted to, I don't know, like give not a recap, but like maybe some shout outs to some of the feedback we got from it. And just like put a little bit of a bow on it, because it was kind of an intense episode. And if you haven't listened to it, feel free to jump back a few episodes and check it out. But yeah, maybe you want to start with some of the, I don't know, feedback you got, and or some of the last somewhat final commentary. Final is like, this is an ongoing conversation. It will never be final, probably. But to put a bow onto that specific episode, anything you wanted to say about it?
Yeah. I mean, uh, I thought that we got really positive responses to the episode. I definitely want to acknowledge it just because it would feel kind of awkward and random to not acknowledge it, right? It was
Yeah.
very much a unusual episode for us. And when we published it, we got an unusual amount of
Unusual
please
amount of
hold
microphone
technical difficulties.
microphone feedback. Do you want me to go?
We're
You still
back.
sound good to me. I think you're on.
Oh yeah, okay, good. Wow, what was I saying?
Some of the
Yeah.
feedback you got from the episode, you said it was like
We
mostly
mostly got,
positive. Yeah,
yeah, all positive feedback.
all positive.
Definitely was a bit of an unusual episode for us, and I think our listeners and people, and with especially within the WordPress community, noticed. But yeah, I just want to shout out a couple of people that were really sweet. Chris Ford, you're wonderful and a big supporter. And thank you for using your voice to amplify the podcast episode. And yeah, also the contributor most commonly known as Rarst, Andrei Sanchenko. Thank you so much for your support. And, Rachel Cherry, thank you for your support. And yeah, just thanks for reaching out, for listening to the episode. I hope you learned something new. Definitely also want to shout out Liam Dempsey. Big fan of him and all his work within the WordPress community, and just some people that reached out and said nice things about the episode. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being you.
Oh my God, Liam's the best. Like, I don't know
Yes.
if I've ever met someone who's so like purely good before. Like, I don't know. Every time I talk to him, I'm like, oh my God, he's like an angel almost. I'm like, so Liam, yeah, what Christie said, I couldn't say any better. Thank you for being you. I'm actually talking to him on Twitter right now, DMing him about sponsoring WordCamp Philly this year. So,
Cool.
it's a good coincidence. I wanted to give a few shout outs to some folks too. I got a few here, just a few like nice responses to the episode. Kevin Hoffman from the Give team just tweeted at us, thank you for sharing your stories, experiences, recommendations with us. The paradox of tolerance is a new concept for me, and I enjoyed learning more about it after the episode. So thanks, Kevin, for the reply. Aaron Jorbin gave a nice thank you to us, a nice little reply. So thanks,
I love
Aaron.
Aaron.
Aaron, shout out. Brasco, there's no first name on the Twitter account, or maybe Brasco is your first name. There's no last name, but Brasco, thank you. Just listen to this episode. Thank you for both for using your platform to shed light on the issue. And Brasco also looks like a minority in the WordPress community. So it's nice to get some feedback from other folks who are also in our same shoes who listen to the episode. Because, there are people from different backgrounds listening. And so it's nice to get some positive feedback from different folks, which is nice. Joseph Dixon. Mess your name up, Joseph, but I'll say your name a few times now and give you more shout outs. I mess your name up, Joseph. Also, awesome name, Joseph. Your name is super dope. The most important WordPress community conversation I've listened to in some time. Thank you, Joe. I don't know if you like to be called Joe. Some people don't like to go by nicknames. Hannah Smith gave us a nice reply. The events calendar gave us a nice reply.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I'll read those tweets quickly because I don't want to leave them. I read other tweets. I don't want to leave them out. Hannah said, took the time out to sit down and listen to this episode today, and I'm so glad I did. It was a great combo to be party to, and you did it so well. Kudos to you, and a million thank yous. Heart emoji. Is it a green heart emoji? I like the alternate heart, not just a basic red heart, but a
Purple
green
heart, blue heart.
Purple heart, blue heart. An events
heart.
calendar. Really great episode, Joe and Christie. Extremely important for the WP community to think about inclusiveness more, especially when it comes to dismantling systematic racism. They got it. They got the episode. They definitely listened because they nailed that one pretty much. So events calendar, thank you, appreciate it. I also got some DMs. Some folks slid into my DMs because I said, okay, my direct messages are no longer open because I don't leave them open for extenuating periods because I don't like to get a ton of direct messages because honestly, it's not just because it's spammy a lot of the times, but it's just because I'm not going to probably read them that much because I'm not on Twitter like all the time. But I did get some messages as well. Taco Verdo sent me a very nice direct message. There's nothing. It's pretty similarly in the vein of what other people sent me. It was a direct message, so I'm not gonna read it because it was not a public tweet. It's a direct message. So Taco, I'm not trying to like not give you a shout out. I super appreciate the message. I just want to be cognizant of your privacy. So it's a direct message. I'm not going to read it, but thank you, Taco, for the equally as awesome feedback I got from other places.
I got a message from Taco too, but I wanted to let you give the shout out. But thank you, Taco. Your message meant a lot to me.
You get a double shout out, Taco. Nice job. Nice work. Thank you. And honestly, this is a good moment to give a little bit of feedback for everybody. Like we both got direct messages from Taco. Like we both loved Taco before, but now we're like super love Taco. It's a really easy way to make good friends in the WordPress community. It's like, hey, I saw this thing you did. Nice job. It just really takes 10 seconds and it like really can connect you with someone. So Taco, you're at the top of my list now, buddy. Thank you. Corey Miller gave us some nice shares. He shared us in the post status group. We got some nice shares in this episode. We got a share in the post status newsletter, which you should for sure subscribe to, in the Master WP newsletter, which you should for sure subscribe to, and in the repository newsletter, which is sent out by MailPoet, which you should also subscribe to. So it was nice to see it get shared around a lot. I think that, sharing is indicative of saying like, I agree with something and I think this should be put out there in the world and I want to share with my audience. And that gives positive. It's not just like pushing a button to say I'm sharing this. It's like, I have some agreements with that.
It's caring.
Ooh, sharing is caring on this episode of Barney, Sesame Street. So yeah, that's all we wanted to say about the episode. Just give some people some shout outs and thank you for the positive feedback on it. Yeah, we may do some more episodes like that in the future. We'll try to stick to monthly recurring revenue related stuff, but these are important topics and we want to talk about monthly recurring revenue, but we want to talk about what's most important in right now in the WordPress space. So glad we got to do that episode and we appreciate all the positive feedback. So, woo. Okay. Q&A episode 100 was a Q&A episode, and episode 100 and whatever episode this is going to be, 5, 6, something, I don't know, will also be a Q&A episode. So we got some nice questions to go through. Christie, are you ready?
I love Q&A episodes. I'm ready. These are my favorite.
All right, sweet. First Q, and we'll give the A. First question is from Nate Hoffelder. Nate's in DC with us, so a lot of shout outs this episode. Shout out, Nate. Thanks for the question. Nate's question is, does everyone here, or do folks have a plan for if they get hit by a car? Is pretty much the question. And like, there's also a follow-up question, which is like, who doesn't have one? Which I think is also like an interesting part to the question, because like there's stuff to talk about around having, like if you get hit by a bus or if you get hit by a car plan, and like people who don't, like, why don't you? And what do you need one? What should be included in it? So it's kind of two pieces of the same question, but a super interesting one. Christie, you wanna give it an answer for? Do you have one? I don't know. Do you?
I have so many thoughts on this one. Bus factor. The bus factor is real, and bus factor is a huge business risk that you need to be aware of, and that it takes a lot of humility to work through. You are not forever. You are not invincible. You could go down any second, and whatever you've created doesn't only belong to you. It also belongs to your team, your users, your customers, your investors if you have them, your vendors. And if you don't have a bus factor plan, you need to make one, because figuring out how things are going to continue to exist without you is, in my opinion, the ultimate goal of what we're doing here with WPMRR. With that said, the who doesn't have one bit of this question really gets me, because because I actually know someone who straight up got hit by a car. Was biking down a bridge and got hit by a car going 55 miles an hour and
Oof.
they were knocked off this bicycle. If they hadn't been wearing a
Oof. Oh
helmet, they
boy.
would have died.
Oh,
And he was incapacitated for 3 months. He had several
holy shit.
concussions. He couldn't take care of himself for 3 months. And let me tell you that no plan that you have for getting hit by a car is enough of a plan.
Yeah,
It is
dude,
just the
totally.
kind of thing that when it happens, you're just flying by the seat of your pants. You can plan for this. And I don't know that he had a plan, right? But just the severity of this type of situation, of anything
Yeah.
that incapacitates you for several months. I want to tell you that I think at the time, this friend of mine was in pharmacy school. And it was like, yeah,
Oh no.
there's definitely a bus factor risk of being in pharmacy school, also known as what if you get hit by a car and then can't continue. But
Yeah.
when he was in bed, unable to take care of himself, his entire family was coming together to take care of him for the next 3 months. No one
Mhm.
was thinking about pharmacy school.
Yeah.
And chances are that if you got hit by a car, literally, you would not be thinking about your business as much as you would be thinking about your physical survival. With
Yeah.
that said, bus factor risk in business is extremely important to consider, because even if people don't literally get hit by a car, we don't want to create dependencies on single people. What do you do about this, Joe, at WP Buffs? You have more of a problem with this than I do now.
Yeah, that's true. I do want to ask more from your side because even as a teammate and employee, it's important. Like your role is like, what if no one's doing? What if you're not there for the next month? Like, who picks up the pieces? How do other people pick up the pieces? There's like a lot of systems questions there, but I'll go into how like I think about things at WP Buff. So you're also very right. Like, especially at big companies, like they have it's like C-suite insurance. It's literally an insurance you can go get, and it's like pretty fucking expensive. Like think about like automatic, like Matt Mullenweg has, they probably pay like tens of thousands of dollars a month for insurance on Matt, because if something happens to him, he's like a huge part of automatic. Like they get a payout, like it's insurance. Probably the same with like a lot of big companies. WP Engine, I'm sure, has a lot of this stuff. Like any big company that you're thinking of in the WordPress space definitely has insurance, especially on C-suite employees. So it's a real thing. Like you can literally get insurance for this. The We don't have that insurance. I don't have that insurance for us. Speaking honestly. But we do have things in place so that if I'm incapacitated suddenly, things will be okay. Interestingly, we've done episodes before about like how to take a 3-week vacation. Like that was one of our first 10 episodes I think we did. Like we've done a lot of episodes about like how to like decouple yourself from being super required to do like day-to-day stuff of your work and being able to replace yourself pretty easily. So a lot of this is actually like stuff you should be like thinking about on a regular basis, regardless of like if you get hit by a car or not. Like you should be making sure like other people can do your job if they need to, and like be flexible around that. It's one of the reasons why we're very big on forcing people to take vacations and forcing people to take time off, because it's not only good for that person's mental health to take some time away, but it helps other people have to take up those person's responsibilities and gives people more responsibilities and like more ability to be promoted and stuff. So it's actually good for everybody. So that's something you can think about, because if that person gets hit by a bus, 10 days after they get back from vacation, well, someone else was ready to pick up their stuff already. So that's something. Another thing, just from like a practical standpoint, is have health insurance coverage for yourself and your employees. Like if you get hit by a car and you have $50,000 in medical expenses and you're a contractor, like you're a little bit screwed. Like that's something you're going to have to pay out for the next like 10 years of your life, maybe, like if you don't have health insurance. Like that's crazy. So I think that, if you're not majorly
If you're not
successful
in the
financially or
US.
whatever, yeah, only if you're not in the US. So cover, if you're like a leader of your company, like have health insurance for US employees, cover healthcare expenses for your international employees. A lot of international outside the US people have like state sponsored healthcare, but they still have to pay for it. Like pay whatever their $200 a month for healthcare coverage is. Like we do that for all our employees, even international ones, and for US ones, we have, full US coverage. And really good health insurance. We're hiring right now, so come talk to me if you were looking for a new team to join. But have health insurance. That's an important thing for if you get hit by a car. I think a pretty practical one too. The last thing I'll say here is just it kind of goes with the other thing I was just mentioning, but like most, especially for leadership positions, but for most positions, you should probably have like a junior to you who's like learning to do what you do. There's not that much that I do at WP Buffs that's like Joe has to do this. There's some marketing stuff that I'm the best at for sure. There's some decision making that I'm the best at for sure. But if I wasn't here, someone else could, and especially a group of other people could come together and make probably about as good a decision as I could. I mean, the amount of times I've made a decision and part of my leadership team has been like, nope, that's not what we should do. And I've been like, yep, you're right. Thank you for letting me know. Is a ton of time. So I think like for me, it's having Nick around especially, but Dean also. I mean, they're both like people I rely on heavily all the time. And the more I rely on them, the more responsibility and accountability over work they can have, the more they give back to WP Buffs, and the more ready they are to be leaders at WP Buffs. Like, and they are and have been for a long time. So I'm far from the only leader here at WP Buffs and like probably like not the most important piece of the equation. And that's been I've done that purposefully, not just it just happened to happen. I was like, Nick and Dean are like going to be more central to like our core competencies than I am. Also, they're just super great at what they do, and there wasn't really another thing that could have happened. Like I couldn't have stopped it if I tried. Like they're too good at what they do. So yeah, I mean, those are some, I guess, somewhat practical things to have in place. But now we're talking about like insurance. Like I probably should have some sort of like additional insurance for if I get hit by something. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? / what are maybe some systems you have at Liquid Web that are helpful?
I agree with everything you said. I think that for people who are curious about this or have never maybe even considered it before, I deeply, deeply encourage you to Google bus factor, right? Talks about this particular type of
Bus
business
factor.
risk.
I never heard of that specifically, but
It's a
it's a
term.
good terminology.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a term. That's a term. And it talks about this specific type of business risk, how to overcome it. It's a very well documented phenomenon because and this is kind of what you wanted me to talk about, was even in large companies, this is a problem. Because if you have one person who is very central to a lot of processes and a lot of stuff lives in their head, if something happens to them, that can bring down hundreds of people, right?
Yeah.
And so bus factor business risk is something very important, and that's literally what it's called. And it's called that because it's the what if you get hit by a bus type situation, right? This has especially gone out into the entrepreneurship and startup spaces because obviously bus factor is massive with founders. But it can be really key with, say, directors of engineering. It can be very key with product leads. Product leads have big buzz factor. And especially, for example, my role, I am not a product manager, I'm the product manager for their product line for managed WooCommerce at Nexus, which means that with me, if we weren't doing things correctly, there could be some bus factor. There could be things about managed WooCommerce that only live in my head. And then if I got hit by a bus, knock on wood, then we would possibly have some difficulty, right? And so how do we overcome that? Well, we collaborate on teams, right? So I work on a team and then my team knows what I'm working on every day. So if I got hit by a bus, my team together can take over. And that goes back to what you were saying about how bus factor for founders eventually turns into a leadership team can make decisions that person would have traditionally made, right? So maybe we work a little bit less efficiently because we're going from one person singularly making decisions to a group of people coming together to make decisions. But groups of people make optimal decisions a lot of the time when they come in with different types of expertise. So that can be really helpful. And then another thing that I do, because I'm particularly conscious of this type of problem, is I document everything. When I come up, I have this one Google Doc that it's just my job. And when I come up with new things or new rules or new places to do things, I just jot them down in a little list. And that also makes the process of handing off work, whether for vacation or to move on to your next role, a lot easier, because then you can just be like, hey, here's the thing. I documented all the stuff that I'm doing. This should give you what you need to get started.
Yeah. Documenting's big on that, about that too. It's a big reason why documenting is so important. Obviously to get systems down and be more efficient in things and share information. But part of sharing information is like, if something happens to one person, everybody has access to it. Definitely something we probably don't do a good enough job at. We're actually like doing a big revamp on all our documentation right now, making it better and getting one real central hub for it. So that's something I've written down. I actually also just emailed the guy who manages, he's our broker, he manages all our insurance and stuff like that. And I asked him about this insurance. So I will be looking more into this as well. I know small businesses, there is insurance you can apply for as a small business too. It's like business insurance. It's around this kind of thing. Like if I get incapacitated or something. So it's not just for big companies. I think there are also smaller company versions of it, or maybe it's just you just pay less because you're a smaller company or something. I don't know exactly how I'd have to do some more research into seeing exactly how they calculate it, but that's definitely something people should look into. Like business insurance for founders would be what I would Google to check this out if you're like a smaller business or freelancer with your own little LLC. Definitely something to look into. So cool. Nice. Good answers, Christie. I think that was pretty good.
Awesome.
All right. Next question. This next question is from Danielle Bassana. Thanks for the question, Daniel. I think it's Daniel, I think is how you pronounce it. Daniele.
Yeah.
So Daniel.
That's like
just
Italian
spelling,
Daniel.
I'm not. Yeah, it's a non-English spelling. So sorry, Daniel. But I think I got it right.
I went to high school with a guy named Daniel with an E at the end, and everybody called him Danielle, and he was like, no, it's Daniel.
He was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad. See, your experience is coming very important here, so make sure.
Thank you, Daniel.
Hello, folks. Okay, so this is kind of a subscription versus one-time support question. So Daniel asks, 9 out of 10 leads ask for a one-time quote and are not interested in a subscription. At this stage, we only want subscriptions. We consider them out of scope. I'm trying to figure out if it is a normal ratio or if we're attracting the wrong leads. Do you have any experience that most of the people don't want a subscription? Any input is appreciated. So this is kind of more like support related, like kind of for me, because hosting companies don't get probably people asking for one-time stuff, but maybe in your support you get a good amount of people asking for like, I need help with this WordPress thing, can you help? This was specifically for like, I'm selling care plans and I get people asking, I just need help with this one thing, can you help? But I think we can probably both have interesting answers to this, because again, I'm sure you get support that's totally outside the scope as a hosting company. I know a lot of hosting companies do. So what about for a hosting company, Christie? Obviously you do subscription billing and you want to get people on subscriptions. Do you get asked for one-time support a lot? And like, if so, what do you do with the one-time help?
I have a lot of thoughts on this because yeah, we do actually. Fun fact. So with hosting, when we get asked for quote unquote one-time quotes, what ends up happening really is somebody has the specific length of engagement and they don't want to sign up for something recurring. So they're like, can I just pay for a chunk of time at once, usually a year, right?
Of hosting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we actually do have annual billing, but it's annual recurring. So you can get billed annually if you want. You'll get a discount for doing it.
As opposed to monthly?
Right. You'll get a discount for doing it because obviously money now is better than money in the future. And a lot of the time people will say, oh, can it be just this year? And it's like, no. Well, why? And that goes back into the core of this question, which is because when you're selling a subscription, you are selling ongoing value. To me, you getting this question indicates that you're not communicating your ongoing value. I don't know what Daniel's website looks like or what types of content he's putting out that's attracting leads, but if your marketing clearly states, this is the way in which we're going to help you from now until the future. This is what you're going to get for your entire life every month from us. Then people don't ask, oh, but can I just get it one time? And then when they say, can I just get it one time? You can easily turn the conversation around and be like, no, no, no. The benefit of this is that you continue to get it. Look at all of these new things that happen every month. Look at all of these ways in which we save you time and continue to build upon the thing that you're paying on each month due to your monthly subscription. The product gets better, the services get deeper, we get to know you better, because the reality is that if you're selling something that's just kind of the same every month, of course I only want to buy it one time and then kind of get over it, right? You have to continue to keep building. So you asked about out of scope support requests and hosting, and yeah, we get those all the time, right? And there are people that specialize in one-offs like this, and that is what they want. And we keep a directory of them, but it's not what we do, right? That is a type of product, and that product itself has been productized in a way. It's just not what we do. And we have an entire partner directory where we can send people and say, hey, you know, this person needs help with this one particular thing. They want to build out this one particular feature. The reality is that a lot of the time when you're looking at things that are one-offs are rarely one-offs. How many things in this life do you really truly only need to do one time?
Yeah.
Very few.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think people who come for one-off help often are going to need help on an ongoing basis. The challenge you have as a business owner is how much time is it going to take to educate that customer on the value enough to the point of getting them to buy a subscription? And is that worth your cost of acquisition cost in terms of education? Because education is one of the most expensive customer acquisition costs. If you have to like educate everybody who comes to you that they need to go from one time to subscription and then close them, like that's going to take a ton of resources and time. I agree with what you said, Christie, about just like messaging and marketing and copy. I think that Daniel said like kind of 9 out of 10 people come to him for one-time support. To me, that's, one of two probably issues it's most likely. One is either targeting the wrong kinds of customer or the wrong kind of target market, or the like people who just need one-time support. So you may have the like wrong traffic coming to your website. So if you wrote a blog post about how to get, where to go to find a freelancer for the help on that one small issue, and you get a lot of traffic to that blog post and people are contacting you, well, probably it's because they were searching Google for like, how do I find one-time help? And then they came to you. So that would be an example of just like targeting. And I've never seen Daniel's website before, but this is totally an example, but that would be an example of writing a blog post that actually targeted the wrong kind of customer for you. When you're looking for subscription customers, you want to write more blog posts like what we do at WP Buffs. Like, how do you make more monthly recurring revenue? Like, what tools can I implement on my site to actually like capture subscriptions? Like, there's more subscription related stuff you can write. So that's one thing, is just the targeting aspect. And then the second is the actual copy on your website and the way in which you're selling your services and subscriptions, which is kind of what you were talking about, Christie. It's like, you don't want to be talking about one-time support on your sales pages. Like, we want to be talking about the subscriptions you offer and educate people on the website, because that's a much more scalable way to educate people than having to talk with every single customer and explain the difference between one-time and subscription. Explain it really nicely on your website. Maybe have a video about subscriptions. The more you can talk about the subscription service, the more you're going to attract people who are interested in a technical partner or whatever, a subscription, and the less you'll have to talk to people who want one-time help, because they'll get the message. This is a challenge. We still get a good amount of people that come and ask for one-time support. And it's annoying. I'm not going to lie. It's a little annoying. It's like, did you not read anything on the website? We talk about subscriptions everywhere. And like people are just like, maybe I missed it. Maybe they do one-time support. Maybe I should ask them, which I get. I shouldn't make fun of them with that voice. That, you're allowed to ask for one-time help. That's fine. We just don't do it. If you're listening, don't ask for one-time help. We don't do it.
Right.
Yeah. But that's part of business also. to target you're never going to like target 100% the right people. Like it's a long time play. You have to change, you have to adapt, you have to improve. The goal for good customers is to continue to try and attract good customers. How do you attract more people like that? And you can talk to your current customers. Hey, what else do you need? What else can we build to help you more around subscription stuff? That's a good way to attract more people like the subscription customers you already have. What do you do with the people who come to you that are asking for one-time support? For me, I like to keep them in my universe. Like I like them to be subscribed to my email list. Like I like for them to read our blog. Like I want to help them. It's not like I don't want to help them. That's cool. And maybe over the long term, we'll educate them. But I also don't want to spend high price time on them. I don't want to spend 5 hours trying to sell them on something if they're not going to end up buying it. I want to attract people who are interested in the subscription so I can spend 1 hour selling them and get them in and get their lifetime value up. And so I always say, like, get the people you know, like look for your red flag metrics, like people asking for one-time support. That's a red flag metric for us. Get those people like out of your like direct sales funnel and get them into your long-term sales funnel or your education funnel or your email list, and send them out more podcast episode or blog posts. And then maybe in a year, they're like, oh, I have like 10,000 visitors a month on my blog now. I need someone to manage it because like I got to work on growing it. This could be a big thing. Maybe at that point they'll be ready. So that's like some of my advice. And I think that hopefully is helpful. That's how we think about it at WP Buffs, how I think about it at WP Buffs anyway.
Agreed.
Sweet. Okay. We could do one more question. Do you have time, Christie, or you like have a...
Yeah, I have one more question, although I feel a little bit of shyness around this one. I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, I will go first, and you can comment if you'd like to, but you don't have to. This is our podcast because we do what we want. You talk about stuff, you don't talk about stuff, whatever. This question is, and let me do a quick little search to make sure I know who this is from. Terry Loving. Thank you for the question, Terry. Also, excellent last name. My son,
Lovin.
Morrison, his middle name is Loving as well. And so excellent name choice there. I won't tell the whole story about the middle name, but same middle name. So Terry, super appreciate you. Terry's question is wondering what advantage you find working with ConvertKit versus others. And I will tell my quick story about ConvertKit. I love ConvertKit for certain reasons, and I also dislike it for other reasons. And let me talk a little bit about that because let me talk first about the reason why I love ConvertKit. I love ConvertKit because it solved a really big pain point for us and for a ton of people by doing a few things really, really well. We used to use MailChimp like 3 years ago, and they just didn't have like simple, like, how do I get like a list of like people tagged with this thing or segmented with this thing? Like they had horrible tagging and segmentation. And I just wanted to say, if someone clicks this link, it tags them as someone who uses WooCommerce. Like they clicked on like 10 WooCommerce strategies to use. It tags them as WooCommerce. So when I send a WooCommerce email out, I can just send it to those people. MailChimp was shit at doing that. Totally horrible. And maybe they're better at it now. I haven't used MailChimp in 3 years, so I won't totally like shit on them right now. But ConvertKit did it awesome and made it so easy. So I was like, let's use ConvertKit. Like it just like tagging and segmenting are done so well. It's perfect. But they also do some things like that I would expect better of a somewhat big bootstrapped company. Like a company that starts like revenue funded and doesn't raise money and makes it to like we just crossed like $1 million a year barrier, which has been pretty cool. So it's like, yeah, we hit this cool like milestone of like $1 million at WP Buffs. ConvertKit is at like, I think they do like $2 million a month. So they're at like $25 million a year as a bootstrap company, which is like pretty big for a bootstrap software company. Not the biggest, but significant size. They should be doing like, have a better editor. Like the editor is like pretty wonky and like some text doesn't come through the right size in email. So like, it's totally not perfect. There's definitely things I think they could work on and do better at. But They do great things in terms of email tagging and segmenting. And if you just want to have like a sub list of people of your whole list that are of a certain, something special about them that they clicked on it, like WooCommerce, or maybe they're on a membership site, or for us, we do like direct customers. Are they an agency? Are they a freelancer? Like those are important for sales. And to monetize an email list, this is like kind of a best practice, but it's also like, I feel like is pretty true, is you have to like segment your email list into somewhat relevant areas so that you can send people things that they want. If you just send every email to every person, you're going to have higher unsubscribe rates. You're going to have higher people not really reading everything, and that's bad for your send rate. It's bad for your like emails not going into junk and appearing in like the main inbox tab and stuff. So you want good like click-through rates, and you want good open rates and that kind of stuff. So segmenting your email list helps with that. Plus, it's just like you send people what they want, which is like so many people don't do that. It's like I don't subscribe to like almost any email things because most of them are pretty bad at targeting me. But there's also people that don't follow that rule and just send one email out to everyone, like Master WP. Like I'm pretty sure they send just their newsletter out to everybody every week, and it's like great, but like that's their shtick. It's like we send the newsletter out. It's not like, there's not as much like targeted sales stuff like we're doing. So that would be my big advantage of ConvertKit, is like tagging and segmenting. It also, like, you can create nice rules so that if someone's tagged as this, they'll be added to this sequence. Like that's all around tagging and segmenting email lists that I think is really powerful for ConvertKit. And I think that this is one of those companies that like, I really like ConvertKit, even though I have a few like issues with them. I like ConvertKit a lot. I like their team. I like their founder story, which is like, I'm going to shut this down. It's not really working. And someone was like, you should actually double down on it and do it. Okay. And now it's a $25 million company. Like, it's a pretty cool story. So you should go and check out that story. But anyway, I think ConvertKit, if you're looking to like, if segmenting and tagging email subscribers to certain things is going to be a big lever for you in terms of monetizing an email list or having good, happy email subscribers that want to get your emails every week or every day or every month, then ConvertKit, I would definitely like try it out. So I just talked for a long time, a lot about ConvertKit, but those are my thoughts, and those are what I think are the advantages. So hopefully that was helpful, Terry. Did you want to add something, Christy, or are you like,
No,
thanks?
you said absolutely everything I would have said. I started off by saying that I'm feeling shy about this question and I want to start by saying that my opinion of ConvertKit is the same as yours. I love their founder story. I think they're making such a cool product. It's so good for segmented email marketing. The tagging system is unbelievably powerful. It's just really, really well done. Billing is transparent as well, which I love. But I was feeling shy about this question because my personal experience with ConvertKit was actually that when we started getting more serious about our email marketing program at Caldera WP, we decided to migrate from MailChimp to ConvertKit. And I found it so difficult to use that I switched back to MailChimp.
Oh, wow, interesting, because totally separate experiences. What about using it was difficult? You're allowed to have a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, this is good feedback for them if they listen. This is good
feedback.
feedback.
Yeah, if they listen, this is good feedback, and I'd love to talk about it. And what's funny is I still have an extremely high opinion of ConvertKit. It's just that I wasn't the right user. ConvertKit is very much intended for someone who wants that incredibly powerful tagging system and wants and has the capacity to get into the minutia of absolutely targeted segmentation. And for me, that cost benefit was a little bit off. It was so much work, and I just needed segmentation that was level 2, not level 7. And I was already seeing the kinds of lifts that I wanted from basic segmentation, and I didn't have the marketing team in place to get into advanced segmentation of my users. And so I found ConvertKit to be overkill for what I wanted to do. And I ended up bringing everybody back because I was working with a bunch of contractors, and it was easier to contract out MailChimp work than it was to contract out ConvertKit work. And a lot of my team and my users, especially working on a form plugin, were deeply visual people. So form design and things like that went a really long way. Email design, image design, and those things tended to be easier in MailChimp. And I think that if anything, this is a lesson for our listeners on your product can be the most amazing product at its stated value proposition, and it's still not going to be right for someone. And that's okay. You don't have to fight to get the people who aren't right for you. Different products are right for different people. And that's why we have a large variety of products to choose from out there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think if people from ConvertKit are listening, they may actually be like, good. Like I don't actually consider MailChimp and ConvertKit to be like super direct competitors, because I think the way I think about it is like MailChimp is like level 1, like you start a MailChimp, like most people do. Then like level 2 is like ConvertKit. If you have a team and you're like doing more advanced stuff, you'd go to ConvertKit. And then to me, I actually had the same issue as you did, but like maybe one level up, because I was choosing, I think, between level 2 and level 3. And level 3 would be like Active Campaign, which I was looking at. I had a sales call with them, like 2 sales calls with them. And it was super expensive. And I was like, but it does so much cool stuff. But at the end of the day, I was like, this is too fucking complicated. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to like managing this requires me to have a full-time, maybe not just a full-time marketer, but like a full-time marketing team to like manage just the organization around Active Campaign. I think it's super powerful, but that was my reason I didn't go with them. And I went with ConvertKit was because I thought ConvertKit's level 2. I get this as a marketer myself. My marketing skills are pretty good and I can understand exactly what ConvertKit's doing. It's pretty simple for me, but Active Campaign, I was like, if it's too complicated, I'm not going to do it, or I'm not going to understand it, or I'm not going to want to understand it. I'm going to like get frustrated. So I need it to be simple for me to be able to do it as well. So I think I totally get where you're coming from, Christie. And I think that that's a really good point. Actually, I'm super glad you brought that up, because I think like Terry, if you're thinking about ConvertKit, you should probably have like some segmenting and tag experience to like want to go and to do more of that work. I think someone who's a beginner could go and learn it, but it will take time to like figure out how ConvertKit works and all those things. Maybe I'm sure there's some YouTube videos out there that can help and all that stuff. But that's a really good point, Christie, of like ConvertKit's probably like I don't know if I'd call it level 2 and MailChimp level 1, but it's definitely level like 1.5. Like it's at least a half step up from MailChimp. Like, and I've heard MailChimp now actually does segmenting and tags much better than they did when
a
I
lot
was using
more advanced they did when I was making these decisions, for sure.
Okay, so I've heard that too. So maybe MailChimp is good to start. Like, still, like if people aren't super interested in, if you just want to like send an email out to some folks, like MailChimp might be a good place to start. ConvertKit is like, once you've gotten your sea legs under you, maybe you move to ConvertKit. Maybe you start on ConvertKit if you're feeling saucy, but if not, then MailChimp's fine too. So,
use both.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Pick one.
We're going into Christie's bad advice here. Yeah. Next episode.
Bad advice, Christie Chirinos.
I listened to that podcast. Okay, cool. Well, we did 3 nice juicy Q&A today. So if we can probably wrap it up there. Let's wrap it up. Let's finish out the episode.
All right.
If people want to have more awesome Q&A episodes like this, you're more than welcome to shoot them in to yo@WPMRR.com. We really like to do these Q&A episodes, and yeah, it'd be fun to do some more. People can binge the episode, right, Christie? Should they go and do some binging?
Get into your podcast app and sort from oldest to newest and hit play. Bam.
Ooh, I don't. Does mine do that?
100 hours of content.
I don't even know if mine does that. Is that a thing? You can sort different ways? I think mine automatically sorts by newest to oldest. You can do it different ways.
I think you can usually flip it. At least you can on the Google Podcast app.
Okay, I use Downcast, so I don't know. Maybe they have ways. I'll check it out. Yeah, do what Christie said. Order and listen. But maybe, go check out our first episode. That'd be a trip. We probably didn't know anything then. What else? Reviews. Oh, yeah. Hey, we love those. if you want to give us a nice review,
Please.
super awesome. It helps us in a bunch of different ways, actually. Obviously, it helps us get found in the iTunes store. That's nice. It makes us feel good and want us to do more episodes, which is awesome. It also actually gives us really good feedback for new episode ideas. So if you leave a comment like, hey, love this, would love to, love this topic, 5 stars, we'll do more topics about that. So all it takes is a quick WPMRR.com/iTunes. And just leave like a little 5-star review. That would be super splendid.
Just a little 5-star review.
A little 5-star review. WPMRR.com. Some big news coming out around WPMRR.com. I don't know when this episode's going to launch, so I'm not going to say anything right now. But if it's out there, you'll know about it. We're launching a new Twitter account for WPMRR, and I'll tweet about it. Like, it'll be out there in the sphere of WordPress. So go and look around for WPMRR stuff, and we'd love to see you. So mystery closed. End mystery. Code text. Cool. You can tell I'm not for technical because I don't even know how to say that. We will be in your podcast players again next Tuesday. All right. See you, Christie.
All right. Bye.